So I got into properties maybe about 23 years ago when I bought my first buy-to-let, and subsequently went on to buy more buy-to-lets and continued to build more portfolios in terms of buying distressed properties and value-added types of properties all around the Greater Manchester area as far as Bury, and then built up a large portfolio up until 2008, 2009 of buy-to-lets, and just before that as well, we did small developments, maybe conversions of 6 apartments, new builds of 25 apartments, new build of 20 apartments, and these were all just standard sites in terms of sites that was offered to us with planning that managed to get raised finance and go ahead and get it built. So we had some builders that worked around side by side with us, and then one was a conversion project which was in Heaton in Stockport. That was the first sort of major conversion project. And then I bought 2 shops with, I think it was 2 large flats above them, made them into HMOs, or today you would call it as HMOs, made it 8 bedrooms, but there was one large shop, so I actually split it up into 2, continued with existing rent for one shop because there was so much arrears, and then made another shop into the corner of it. And that was my first sort of venture in terms of realising value of working out an exit on how to make these assets work for you in terms of building up income producing. So that was my first sort of journey. Then the crash happened and we was not able to get any finance during that time. So my structure evolved in terms of I started working with private investors, and not only private investors in the UK, but I had some friends and connections in the Middle East, and started working with some friends' portfolios and assets in terms of one particularly high profile family asked me, they had an empty office that was sat there doing nothing for about 11 or 12 years. So it was the first sort of foray venture into that, which was in a project of Farnborough actually, and we managed to get permitted development. Actually, just going back a step, is it was running an offshore company in Guernsey, and the company had actually been struck off 4 or 5 years prior to that because the family's relationship had completely broken down with the trustees, which was a major bank in Canada, and they were the trustees, but their relationship had completely broken down with the Middle Eastern family due to communication issues and maybe charging too much. So I had to come in and actually understand the company structure, and then go to Guernsey in terms of appointing a new trustee, getting the company reinstated, which took, I think it was about 9 to 12 months. Then during that time, we actually went to visit the property a couple of times, put some initial feasibilities together, and we agreed that we would put in planning application to convert the offices into 14 apartments, I think it was. And so we turned it into 14 apartments, got the approval, managed to get the company reinstated, got them back up to date with the taxes and the whole affairs of that situation. So we turned a bad situation into a good situation because we actually exited out of that as well, and they had so much losses that had incurred in the space of 11 years with it being vacant and paying business rates for so long. What we actually managed to do is recover all of their losses. So they actually came back up to 0, which was a big achievement considering it was just a burning hole. Because I remember going to him and saying to him, you do realise that you don't own the properties because the company's actually struck up. And the first thing that he said to me is, why am I still paying the bills for it then? How can it not be my property if I'm still paying the bills for the last 11 years, which was empty business rates, or utilities, security, agencies that managing the empty properties that never got it rented whatsoever. And so yeah, that was my first sort of venture working with an overseas investor, and a very prominent family as well. Came to a great exit. I remember I was very nervous at the beginning because it was the first time that I was actually doing something for another client rather than for myself or my own business partners, whereas we'd all put in together and actually do the projects. And that opened my eyes up in terms of this is something that I would like to venture more in, working with overseas clients and working on value-added opportunities, distressed opportunities, asset management, portfolio management, developments, but without the requirement of banks, if you like, of debts. So I just shied away from them completely. After the crash, I had my fingers bent so badly, so that's why I just never wanted to deal with that again. So yeah, that was my first sort of so the journey. It progressed into other developments. We started to buy portfolios of distressed assets. I think it will lead on to the next video actually for this one.